What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Auto Auction Rebuilds. We are back today with Michael from Santa's Workshop. You see him waving back there. What's going on, man?
Doing all right. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. We are back today with the 1940 Chevy, and I'm going to take you guys underneath it real quick. We got a couple things that I need to figure out, and I need to make a parts list as well. So if you don't know who Santa's Workshop is, you should really go check him out. His link, well, that didn't work out well. I'm using a different camera. There you go. His link is below the video is what I'm trying to tell you. Go check him out. And I got a couple things I need to try to figure out on this. So I got a light over here. And every one of these problems to me is my biggest problem. My biggest problem currently is bad front tie rod ends. And I plan on addressing that in this video. The inner tie rods are shot on both ends. And I kind of figure if I'm going to do the inners, I should probably just go ahead and knock out some new outers as well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I haven't been able to find like Moog parts. That's what I would like to go back with.
Well, O'Reilly's always handles Moog.
Do they? Okay.
Yes.
I'll check with O'Reilly's then. And I'd like to get some Moog inners and outers, then I can send it in for an alignment and we'll get taken care of. So that's my first biggest problem. My next biggest problem is I really want to adjust these shocks upwards, but I don't have the tool to do that. And this thing sits, let me get you out from under here real quick and I'll show you what I mean. It's got an aggressive look. It looks really nice.
It looks good.
They call this raked, right?
Yes.
It's not raked heavily, but you can see if you look at the running, I call them running boards. They're sort of running boards. Look at the step right there and you'll see how high up it is in the back versus how low it is in the front. Okay, so the car is actually sitting like this. What I want for drivability purposes, the front is almost all the way bottomed out, which means when you hit bumps, the front end is very bouncy. If you give it just an inch or so more travel, inch and a half maybe more travel, get it about level with the back, it'll have more room to hit bumps without bouncing so badly. So that's my next biggest issue. After that, I got so many biggest. Here's another biggest issue. This wheel right here, and don't those Willwood calipers look good back there?
Oh yeah.
They look really nice. Two-piece rotors too. But if you take a look at the rotor, you could see oil all over it. Or should I say grease?
Grease.
Grease. Axle grease is coming out of my rear. Axle grease is coming out of my rear end. It's getting all over my rotor and my brake pads, so I'll probably need to take those brake pads off and at least try to clean them up if they're not super saturated and ruined, which they probably are. So those are my biggest issues.
Those are your biggest issues.
I definitely need to find new coilovers for the front, new shocks for the back as well. So I'm going to start with something really, really easy. I'm going to take you under the car and we're going to have a look at the vent for the rear differential. So I was on a forum and I was looking at replacing the grease seal. This is a Ford 9-inch rear end. And these are actually really easy to do.
Oh yes.
These are very easy. So I'm very glad that it came with a Ford 9-inch rear end. You don't have to take the pumpkin apart and pull the clips out to get the axles out. You just take a backing plate off and you pull everything out and you can replace the seal. Well, here's the thing. I'm on some forums and everybody was saying before you go through tearing everything apart, check and make sure that rear differential is vented properly, because if it's not, it's going to find somewhere to blow that pressure out of. All right, so let's take a little trip underneath this beautiful car. Look how, I mean, everything under here, it's so clean. The bolts are so shiny. It's kind of unreal. All right, so here is your Ford 9-inch rear end. And the great thing about this, we were actually talking about this at dinner, is if you needed to change gears for racing or whatever, you don't have to tear this whole thing down. You just take this part right here where all the bolts are, you take this part out and you can swap it with another one. How easy is that?
It's nice.
And look how beautiful it is. Nothing's leaking. Everything is very clean. But like I said, over here you can see on the tire, it's not profusely leaking, but it's been leaking for a while. Look at those rotors are very wet. Those brake pads are probably toast. But I'll tell you this, it never pulls or anything when I'm coming to a stop. It stops just fine. So we've got to find the vent, and let's start over here. It could be hiding anywhere. It's going to be on top of the axle though. I don't see it. Let's move over to this side and...
Oh, I see something.
Where?
Right underneath the exhaust.
Oh, good Lord, that's next to impossible to see. Okay, I can't see it, but I can see the screen of my camera. Michael, can you see this? The screen?
Oh, the screen. Hang on. Ow. Muffler.
What do you see?
That's a cap.
That's a cap.
Oh, come on, people.
This camera doesn't fit very well in there. Maybe I can get it from this side a little better. Yeah. Here we go. So there's the vent, and somebody has capped it off. That's a solid cap. There's no hole in it. It's like a valve stem cap or something. So the rear end can't breathe.
That would definitely cause a noise.
That would cause it. So here's what I'm going to do. Instead of tearing this all apart, which again is not a very difficult job, but instead of tearing this apart, how about we take that cap off? Maybe I can find a clamp and a hose, and maybe we can route... Well, they just usually lay them up there somewhere.
Yeah.
I could zip tie it to the axle and just put a hose and a clamp on it.
Yeah.
And call it a day. I'll bet, and then clean this up. I'll take this wheel off. In fact, I'll take all the wheels off. 3 of them have not been off yet. I need to clean them. We'll take the wheels off. I'll clean up the wheels. Make sure this is full. I checked it last time, but I'll check it again just to make sure I've got some good grease for it. Make sure it's full, and then once I get the front end put back together, I can drive it around, and we'll see if it starts leaking again.
Yeah.
All right, and we can clean up those brakes while we're at it. I think I fixed it.
I know you fixed it.
What did I do?
You gave it a little more ventilation.
I did. You guys would be proud of me. I did it all by myself. And broke the bit in the process. All by myself. I did. So this was a teeny tiny little opening. This was a teeny tiny opening. You can clearly see where I drilled it out. It's now 3 times the size that it was. There was this little plug in the center here. I took the plug out. There was this little mesh filter. I took that out, and then I proceeded to drill the hell out of it. And now we have this.
Yep.
And we've already tested it. It flows much better.
Much better.
So hopefully this will solve our problem. So what we're going to do now is we are going to put this back in, take this wheel off, probably take the caliper off as well, clean up the caliper, try to clean up the brake pads, and definitely clean up the rotor because it's soaked in oil. Make sure the diff is full, and then I'll daily drive it for a while, and we'll see if it leaks again. All right, I'm going to bring you guys under here. Santa and I are taking turns doing this. How fun is this?
Oh, it's fun.
Santa came up with just an ingenious idea. What do you got in your hands there?
Oil filter wrench.
Oil filter wrench. Now, where's the tool that we were using?
Right here.
This is what we were using, and this is close to the proper tool. It's slightly the wrong size, but this thing was a pain. Santa came up with the idea. He said, "You got some of those good old bite down oil wrench pliers, and take a look at this, guys. Let me get you up in there where he's at. It works. We've got it at about twice the height that it was before. We're not where we need to be yet, but we're way higher than we were before. All we had before is like 3 threads sticking out. Now we got, what, 5? So it's almost twice what it was before. So him and I are just kind of taking turns, and we got the other side to do after this. And then, I promise you, we're going to get on that carrot. Did you just bust your knuckles?
Nope.
I got gloves. I don't know if they'll fit you, but I got gloves if you want them. The problem with this is, the higher up we go, the tighter that spring gets, and it's a workout.
And it's telling me about it.
It's a work. Let me climb back under there. Let me wrench on it for a little while, and then we're going to come back. We're going to take that wheel off and clean up those brakes and that rotor and the caliper. All right, we're going to show you what the front looks like. Don't think that that's how it looks, because it's absolutely not. We've got the back end up in the air. because I want to clean up the brake pads and the rotor and everything that's over here. So we're going to get these Kragers off the back. I'm also going to, while we're over here, I'm going to clean this wheel and the other wheel on the inside just for, you know, I mean, we're already here.
Yeah.
Might as well. And we'll clean up these brakes. Once it gets this wheel off, I'll show you how bad it is. All right, off comes the wheel. Boy, those are beautiful brakes. That used to be a beautiful wheel. I actually cleaned half of this up. See, see up there? I cleaned that half. This half is still greasy. You can tell it's been leaking a while.
Yeah.
It's been leaking a long while. We'll get that cleaned up. Look at these rotors. How much did those cost? How much do you think those cost?
Yeah, a pretty daggum penny.
I was thinking the same. Now, look down there at the brake pads, just so you, I'm not lying. They're not saturated.
No.
I've seen them where they're saturated with oil,
Uh-huh.
and they're falling apart, and they're discolored.
Yeah.
That actually looks all right. But just for safe measure here, we're going to go ahead and pop this caliper off, and we'll clean the brake pads. I got brake parts cleaner. We'll clean these rotors, or this rotor. I'll wipe everything down, make sure we got all the grease off of it. And, oh man, this is beautiful, man. I'm so happy with this car.
As I said, if any of this ends up missing, don't. It's not in my shop.
Don't go. So if I come back and all my parts are missing, don't go to your shop looking.
That's right.
All right. Well, let's pull this stuff apart, guys, and let's see what it looks like. All right. Well, I think she looks a lot cleaner than she did a little while ago. The brake pads, take a peek at them. They look a whole lot nicer. I like that there's still part numbers.
Yes.
Now I have a record in case I ever need brake pads. I got a record. There's the rotor. Everything is all cleaned up. Cleaned up in there too. It's hard to see, but now it's time to put it all back together. And I got to clean up this wheel. And this side will be done. And just like that, look at that. She's back together. She looks good. And Santa put that together for me. And I went ahead and took care of this. Cleaned all the grease off the tire. Got that wheel looking almost as good as new, to be honest with you. That wheel is looking really, really sharp. So let's get it on here. We'll take the other one off just for good measure. I'll clean the other wheel. And then I think, are we ready to sit it back down after this, after that next wheel?
So.
I'll be damned. I'm not going to make them watch me take off the wheel and clean it then. We'll just get this back together. We'll drop it down and maybe we'll take it for a little test drive.
Oh, sweet.
I haven't driven it in a few days.
I love this thing.
Me too. But those bad tie rods leave you scared.
Well, the inner tie rod, I wouldn't be worried about going out.
Yeah.
They'll have to get real bad.
I'm not driving it. We'll take it for a spin, but I'm not driving it home. Tomorrow I'll try to go out and get those tie rods. We can come back and make another video.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we can make another video changing out the front tie rods, inners and outers. And hopefully then, I'm hoping raising up that suspension, I'm crossing my fingers that it really made a big difference.
Yeah.
But honestly, for something from 1940, it sure don't ride like something from 1940.
Well, there ain't nothing 1940 in this suspension.
That's not, well, in this, well, that's true. Not a single thing.
Not a thing.
Not a single thing. I was determined. I was about to find something that was still here from 19. No, it's there's not much on this car still from 1940.
No.
No. Okay, let's bolt her back up, guys, and let's get her on the ground and see how she looks. All right. We got her cleaned up. We got her put back together. Now, the front suspension may need to settle just a tad bit more, but you can still see she's a little raked. The front end's definitely sitting a little lower in the back, but it's much higher than it was before. I like the look. The back end sit a little higher also because the suspension does need to settle after we've had it up in the air. So we're going to take her out. It's dark, so bear with us here. But we're going to take her out, and we're going to see how it does, and hopefully we don't have any more leaks from that rear seal. All right, cold start time. Nice. Almost 60 pounds of oil pressure.
That's good.
Headlights. No air filter on it. Pump those brakes up, reseat those pads. The beauty of fuel injection. I need to replace that vacuum line on the brake booster too.
Is it feeling different?
Actually, the whole car feels different right now. Brakes feel great. Really nice. Oh, smell that? Woo!
High octane.
Raw gasoline, 93 octane. Power steering is buttery smooth. Those brakes feel so nice. It's what happens is though, is when it's running at an idle like this, you got to really lean on the brakes because
Right.
if I don't, it'll just
Sit there and creep.
yes. You got to really smash on the brakes. You got to put a lot of pressure on them. All right. Smooth shift.
That's shifted a whole lot smoother than it was.
Very nice. You know, I've never checked the trans fluid level either. Might be worth it to check that.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're out here on the road. The front end feels 1,000 times better over these bumps. I mean, I don't even feel it.
Yeah.
Very, very smooth now. Still some play from those tie rods. Front end kind of does whatever it wants to, but it's a lot better since tightening down those bearings.
I imagine that's why those tie rods are out.
Yeah. She drives great, Mike. We're doing 60.
Wow.
Well, I'm crossing the center line. It does wander a little bit on the front end there. She kind of does whatever she wants. Not bad, guys. I'm going to take her for the rest of its ride, and we'll come back when it's over and just double check to see if there's any grease all over that back wheel. Well, what do you think? We took it out on its...
Oh, much, much better.
Oh, wow. Everything, the way it rides, the way it was driving, shifting.
Yeah, that shifting. The only thing I could figure is you had that vacuum leak, and when you plugged that hose up, it cleaned it up.
The idle's a lot better. Everything seems to be a lot better since I addressed that vacuum leak. So what I need to do now, there's a couple things I got to get for it. As I said earlier, inner and outer tie rods, I'm going to get those. Want to get a 14-inch air cleaner for it. Hopefully that'll Brock to match the engine. I'm going to do away with the Cadillac version there and go with a more traditional old school looking air cleaner for it. I need to replace the fuel filter just for good measure.
Right.
And the belt, we'll be doing that in the next video. That vacuum line, I'm going to replace the whole thing and the check valve all the way from the brake booster all the way up to the throttle body, so there's no chance of any leaks there either.
Right.
Change the oil in the oil filter as well. And what else? Was there anything? Oh, we got to check in this video. We still got to check and see if there's anything leaking
Yes.
out of that rear end.
Yes,
So
yes.
we'll go ahead and check that real quick. And then I think in the next video, also, you brought these Thrush turbo mufflers because you can attest to the drone in this thing.
Yes.
It is insane.
It'll talk to you.
Yeah. Now, with that said, it sounds beautiful. It sounds absolutely amazing. But when you get to rolling 60, 65 miles an hour.
And if you're going to be, taking it for a 1,000-mile ride,
Yeah.
you're going to need earplugs.
Yeah. So I've got some ideas. We can try those just to see what we think. But I do have some ideas about putting some quiet, regular car mufflers on it, and then putting an electric cutout right before the mufflers that dump right underneath the car.
Right.
So if you want to enjoy your long drive, you can do it in complete silence, nice and quiet, peaceful silence. And if you want to show off, you just flip the switch, open those cutouts, and dump it right under the body of the car.
Yep.
And it will sound absolutely phenomenal.
I think you'll be surprised at those.
All right. Well, we can give them a time. Well, we can give them a try next time. Next time means for us probably tomorrow. We'll see if I can get all the parts I need for it. But let's get it up in the air real quick. Let's check and see if we got any grease leaking out around that axle. I'm hoping we probably don't. I don't. We drove at 65 mile an hour for 10 miles. So if it's going to leak, it should have leaked something somewhere.
Yeah, I should have heated it up enough to squirt something out.
So we'll check that real quick. I got to get a couple part numbers from under here, and then we can close out this video. All right. Moment of truth. See this light in here. Take a look. Oh no, it's soaked.
Is it?
It's soaked. Yeah, it is just as wet as it was.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah, I'm joking.
I want to hit you.
I'm kidding. It's dry. You can see the wheel. There's nothing splattered on the tire or anything.
Hey Randy, grab that tailpipe. See if it's warm.
Now it is still a little moist back here. We didn't get back here and clean all this up. I totally forgot to climb under it and get behind it, but you can see the wheel and everything and the tire is dry. So I'll keep my eyes on this. Also, we could go check this little deal up here. Maybe you guys can see it better than me. Are we up there? There it is. It spewed a little bit. It's doing its job. You can see where it vented. No major leaks or anything at all. Looking good. And the fuel filter, where is that? Because I need to get a part number for this. It says Napa Gold, and that's it. That's lovely. No numbers on this side? Nope. Numbers on this side? Can't see any. No numbers on the fuel filter. So that helps, and I can't take it off because the exhaust is
Right there.
It's a little warm.
A little toasty.
And I do need to get this vacuum line and this check valve. I'm going to replace both of them. This right here is just not acceptable, being broken in the middle. Transmission, a little bit wet right here actually, coming out of that electronic speedometer drive gear. Just a tad bit. I could probably patch that up, take it off, patch it with silicone, and be all right. Just a tad bit of silicone. It's leaking just a little bit where it's crimped together. The rest of the transmission looks okay. Everything up here looks pretty dang good. Any leaks down here?
Not that I can see.
Nothing. Are you serious? Nothing. All right. Well, everything looks good. I'm not used to this. There is so little to do. And look, to change the transmission fluid, look at that. Just a little drain plug right there.
Oh.
Drain it, take it apart, put it all back together. In fact, there's a little bit of fluid right there. You see that?
Yep.
Tad bit. Probably wouldn't hurt to gently retorque that gasket down while we're at it. Okay, there's not much to do, guys, so let me button up the stuff I got to do under here, and we can call this video a wrap. All right, guys, I think we're going to get out of here. The fuel filter, I couldn't get the numbers off of it, and the exhaust is too hot for me to play games with getting it out of there. So the important thing is we found the check valve for the master cylinder brake booster it's leaking pretty badly, so I need to replace that. The vacuum line attached to it is in really rough shape, so I got that off. We're going to replace that. I can go get the inner and outer tie rods, replace those. Then there won't be much left to do.
No.
Take it for an alignment.
Yep.
Yeah.
Alignment.
That should be it.
Yeah, then, attack the mufflers.
Yeah, attack the mufflers, tighten up the bolts, and once I have a few extra dollars in the bank account, which is coming, I think we'll go ahead and probably just go with some, I may just go ahead and put the I may just do the cutouts. I'd hate to have to do the same job twice.
That's true.
I might, you guys do me a favor, comment below and tell me what you think about cutouts. I know that it doesn't make a lot of sense to a lot of people if you got a hot rod and you put some quiet mufflers on it. But if you've got the quiet mufflers for cruising and just enjoying a nice Sunday drive or something, or a 1,600-mile drive across the country, you might want it to be quiet most of the time where you can hear the radio. But then you've got the cutouts. You flip a switch and now it's straight piped, no mufflers. You want it to be loud, that'll be loud.
That'd definitely be loud.
So you can show off when you want to, and you can have a nice quiet ride when you want to. So do me a favor, drop a comment below right now and tell me what you think. Should we go with just some electric cutouts with some quiet mufflers, or should we keep it loud and droney the way it is, or should we switch the mufflers out with the ones that Santa here has got and see how that does. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I guess we're going to get out of here. I had to set the camera down. My arm was hurting. It's heavy, man. I'm used to the little GoPro.
Well, you're having to hold it up to get me in there.
Well, yeah, it's like, hey. We're going to get out of here. I want to give a big shout out and thank you to Michael from Santa's Workshop. So do me a favor, go subscribe to his channel. See, I can do that now. The link is down below this video. Directly below the video, just click the link, go subscribe to his channel. He's been great helping us out lately. Thank you very much.
Oh, you bet.
And if you're not subscribed to my channel, well, consider hitting that subscribe button on my channel too. I appreciate it. Like the video if you enjoyed the content. And until next time, stay safe out there, everybody. I look forward to seeing you all again very soon in the next one.